Vacation, Laurie Kilmartin.
Jaqueline.
I tie. I all kinds of tie. It's freezing in Los Angeles. When I say that, I know that it's not. And yet, I'm chilly.
Many people many Midwestern people like yourself and Matt O'Brien, who's Canadian comic, said it feels colder in LA when it's in the 50s than it does in deep Arctic Canada. I don't know why. I think it's because you're not prepared.
Right, I'm
it doesn't
poorly
look
attired.
like it.
I'm not dressed correctly.
But
when
it's
weird... 25 degrees in Wisconsin or Minnesota, I'm dressed for it. When it's 52 degrees here, I'm like, I could still wear capris probably. They're right in front of me. They're clean-ish.
Yeah. And you I don't know, something you psychologically you just can't get warm, you know? It's a strange one.
It's truth.
So don't move here, people. Keep moving to Texas, where all the comedy's happening.
I'm going to stop moving here right now. 27 years later. I feel like I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere in my whole life.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, because, not me. Let's see. First part of my life in the Bay Area, growing up there, then 10 in New York, and then another year in New York, and then here. I don't know how to tabulate that. I mostly I've been doing comedy longer than I've been swimming, because I took a break from swimming. So comedy wins over swimming, which is really stunning to me.
Comedy does win over swimming. I've spent the week doing many shows at the Flaps over at Flappers.
Great. Yes.
Trying to put together this Don't Tell set. I can't tell you where it's going to be. First of all, they haven't told me.
Do you know the city though?
Here.
Oh, okay. All right, great.
I assume somewhere. Oh my God, it better be here. Yeah, but I pulled some stuff from my first album and then my third album, I think. So I just pulled stuff from that had never been filmed, and so then I'm just doing 12s over at Flappers tonight. By the way, which is when this airs, we're doing a Comic of the Week lineup over at Flappers at 8:00 tonight, Monday, January 8th.
If you're here, we're on the marquee. I was just there tonight. This is Sunday night, and I took a pick. We're between Leno and Arsenio, as we should be industry wise as well, but we're not. But on the marquee we are. So we have a great show tonight, Monday night at Flappers. It's Jasmine Ellis. Jasmine was on our Zoom show, and she kind of got screwed over because somebody had half a mic on, and it just messed with her whole set. So we're like, let's have her back in front of, a live audience that can be beaten if they interrupt her. And Jenny Yang, Jenny's doing some show. I don't know. She released a promo shot for it, and I'm like, oh, she's about to be famous. So I'm glad we snagged her before that all went down. And then the already famous Mary Lynn Rice Cub. Now, Jackie, I'd like to point, and of course, Skylar Higley. Skylar is a Conan writer, and he's also writing for After Midnight, and he wrote for The Onion. He just moved here from Chicago to Los Angeles. So he just... people need to know him. He's hilarious. I worked with him on the road, and he's great.
And he just moved here, so he needs a set. So
yes, for sure.
I also, this is not the place to tell you, but I thought I'd tell you anyway. I told Carmen Morales she could do 5 to 7.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. What if I threw a fit and said this is our last podcast? Jackie,
she hasn't been up in a set. Yeah,
you made our first flyer. And you spelled my name incorrectly. Not only did you spell my name wrong, you spelled Mary Lynn Rice Cub's name right, and it has a J in it and an A, even though it's pronounced Ricekub. You got Radge's Cub right, but not Kilmartin.
Well, I looked her up, and nobody kills like Kilmartin. That's what I said to myself.
Yeah, nice saber.
And I feel bad about that. And then Virginia made a new one that's even better than anything I ever made.
Oh, Oh, good. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
Virginia Jones. I know. It's the red one that I like a lot better than
Yeah,
the
that
one
looks
with
good.
us growling at a camera.
I do
Uh,
like that picture, and I like the weird special effect you put
yeah,
on it.
the
So
filter on that. I
yeah.
can't find the original. I can only find that filtered one.
Yeah, I'm tired too. It's weird because I only had a flight from San Francisco, but it wasn't until like 1:15. And by the way, again, I got to spend a couple hours in the Harvey Milk terminal. Guys, if you were flying into San Francisco, I can't praise this terminal enough. Not only do they have these really cool pictures of Harvey Milk, okay, a gay rights icon who was assassinated along with George Moscone, giving way to our now dead Senator Dianne Feinstein's career. But also, they have like a museum of fabrics, like
What?
Asian fat. It was a very specific
Okay.
museum that I have looked at before. It's very good. I didn't go in again. I was like, seen it, but it's so quiet. No matter how many people are in there, it is quiet, and it's somehow with I don't know. It's some sort of architectural magic or trick, but it's very quiet and beautiful and pristine. And so, folks, always try to fly into Terminal One at SFO if you ever get the chance, and really
Who
enjoy it.
knew? Did you ever think to yourself when you were a little girl, I
Yes.
wonder if I'll ever have a favorite terminal? You ever think about that?
No. Thank God I got to grow up and have new dreams, Jackie.
Oh God.
But I was at
yeah.
I was in Menlo Park last night.
Oh,
last
right.
night at the so there's a place called the Guild Theater. It is a gorgeous. It's a nonprofit theater, and in Menlo Park, which is a high profit town. It's in the Silicon
They
Valley.
can afford
so
a
it's-
nonprofit theater. Yes.
Yes, it's where like executives go to like Mountain View and Sunnyvale and Cupertino to work, and then they go home to their homes in Atherton and Menlo Park. It's where they,
Okay.
it's where they hide away from the workers.
The riff
And
raff.
yes,
The poor
and
bastards just making $400,000 a year. Yeah.
exactly, yes, and so like we went to John Fox, who's the guy that booked it. We went out to get dinner, like at a little coffee house, like food.
Nice.
And they weren't serving food because they were understaffed. They had like a sign out, "We're understaffed." I'm just like, of course, no one can afford to live here and work in a coffee house. It's ridiculous. You have to be the child of a Zuckerberg, and they're not going to be working at a coffee house.
Wow, that's a long way to go so you could bash the rich. I'm completely on board.
Yay! They were fun crowds. Some of them are listening. I told them to listen because I told them we talk about our audiences, and and so they're listening.
Bernadette Pauly went before me last night at Flappers, and
Yes,
lineup last night was excellent. I did 3 sets. I did one at the Yoo-Hoo, did one in the main room, and then I did one in the bar.
yeah. Ooh,
And
Jackie, you
which was
are
booked.
working for the bar is booked.
Yeah, the bar is occasionally
That's
booked now.
hilarious. Okay,
And so and I had to, it was the first time I've done the set now 6 times. Hilarious thing about this set, I'm just running 12 minutes. It might be 15. I'm thinking of changing some stuff around because the intro joke is working off and on, and the end is ending like I'm some sort of British comic with just sort of a flourish. Nobody wants that. Everyone would like a punchline, and then for me to get off stage. But there's a joke in the middle of it, an old joke about my father being like radiation, and I've gotten 3 emails from comics saying how great it is, a couple of comments about how great it is, and 2 comics trying to fix it. I was like, hey, it's done.
Jackie, you've set off a lot of nerves. You've almost dropped a nuke with your radiation joke, Jackie, in the comedy
Boom.
community.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So this week, so it's been great to do the shows, but Bernadette Pauly had such a hard time with these 3. Everybody had a hard time with these 3 sort of, I don't know, late 50s, early 60s white guys. That one of them was named Steve, and they kept breaking up into like talking during my set. They ruined the 12 I was working on, so I had to literally just do new material, just because I was like, well, you guys are making it hard for me to think Steve. And one of them was named Steve, and he goes, I'm not Steve. And I said, you're all Steve. As far as I'm concerned, it's 3 Steves in a row.
I was like, I think I said something like that because there's a winery called Three Steves, and I'm just like, that is the most Gen X white male name is Steve. It's because it went away. No kids are named Steve anymore. There's no Stevens, right? It struck hard in the late 60s and early 70s, and then went.
Yep, people are doing it. They're loving a Steve.
Yeah, well, you know my new chunk about Gen X men. So.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's coming along. I have a new dirty tag at the end, so it's a full bit. It was kind of trailing off a little bit.
Exactly. Now it's got a button and done. So good for you.
Menlo Park first show sold out. Here's the thing: they told me, they go, we don't know if anyone's going to come because it's the weekend after New Year's Eve. And I was like, all right, well, I'm getting a flat fee anyway, so you know what? That's your problem. First show sold out. Second show almost sold out.
Cool.
So it was good, and a lot of just like wealthy, daffy. Here's the thing, like. On the daffy wealthy people, if that makes sense, sort of sweet, but some of them missing something. If they're listening, they know what I'm talking about. But like on the second show, I did my mom dying of COVID stuff, and people were aghast until I said my mom was a Trump supporter, and then they were okay with me joking about her dying from COVID. They're like, hello, liberal. So whatever. They were fun shows, and I had to work, but that was okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I'm going to Denver on Wednesday. I'm doing Denver Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh.
And I will be stopping at Target and buying some Boost so that I have altitude oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do local press, I think, on Thursday, so I'll fly in on Wednesday.
So you're doing like morning TV or what?
Maybe. Speaking of, and I'm really looking forward to it. I did have a guy that I like. He just happens to be in Denver when I'm in Denver, and he was like, hey, can I get a guest set? And I'm like, no, I don't fuck with Denver. I love Denver. There's several clubs that I don't mess with because their scene is so big,
right?
That and I know that those I don't want to rock the boat.
You're a guest,
and
yes,
right. I'm sure that there is some fancy pants dude my age who would be more aggressive about it, but I also here's the other thing I feel about bringing openers and letting people do guest sets is. I'm not entirely against it. But I also feel like a scene like Denver has so many comics, and they need those sets so much that
totally
to fuck with their rotation feels kind of rude too.
Sometimes you can't do a guest set. Hey, Kyle, we can hear you typing.
Yeah. Are you affecting change at a grassroots level? The Great American Novel, Kyle? What are you typing? Or just notes?
Also, I think that they have a very ingrained system. And so, the headliner is sort of the guest that week. It's sometimes when you're headlining a club, you sort of own the club that week a little bit. And you're like, I wanted this person, this person, this person. But again, I've only worked it once.
I could bring.
It feels like that it's their system that you're walking into,
Right. And my brain is kind of fried right now. Yeah. I'm trying to do a lot of different things. Andy's mom's still sick, and so we're trying to deal with that. Haven't really done Christmas. We did do Christmas yesterday, Armenian Christmas, also known as Treason Day. They've fucked with Armenian Christmas. Oh, the Israelis have taken away from the Azeri Armenian war, the Ukrainians, and now Armenian Christmas has been usurped by a bunch of shitbags in a cult with a Confederate flag. January 6th, it's Armenian Christmas. So,
Jackie.
yeah, I know.
I'm
Very
so
sad.
sorry. That's also
Yeah,
Cristela
disappointed.
Alonso's birthday. So some of the blame goes to Cristela.
I got a bike.
I saw the picture. I figured you would talk about it. I didn't want to comment on it. That looks so cool.
Oh my God.
Did you just get a you got it on Armenian Christmas Day?
Yeah, I got it yesterday.
Cool.
I just got it. And I rode it once. And I've never had a new bike. I never got a bike. I bought a bike when I was in high school. Funny thing about bikes, I got a bike from this guy that I babysat for his kids, and he gave me his old bike.
Yeah.
That's the first bike I got when I was a junior in high school, and I took his kids for a bike ride, and we got cornered by teenagers. I was a teenager, but I was just me.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were, and I had two
But
little kids
mentally,
with
you
me.
were 40 years old as a teenager, so you felt that they were teens.
I was a psychopath because these three teenage boys tried to bully us into giving them our bikes.
Mm-hmm.
And I picked up my bike that Dennis had just given me, the dad, and I beat up their bikes with my bike. I had some anger issues. I picked up the bike and I hit their bike with my bike.
Jackie, how come I never get to see these acts of violence? Why do I always get Jackie with a notebook?
You got the healed Jackie. Good for you. The one
Boring.
with all the good stories. Boring.
That's exciting. Do you have a helmet?
I do have a helmet, and a really nice helmet, and a really nice bike. And Andy's buddy Kevin, who's one of his best friends, he teaches bike, and he gave me these reflector things to put on the spokes.
My next question is how well lit you are if you're biking at night.
Super well lit.
Yeah.
And then he also gave me a bell that has Captain America's shield on it.
Sure.
So that's what. There you go.
Oh, I like it.
It bells. Yeah, I have to find a Phillips screwdriver so I can put it together. But yeah, it's such a cool. I didn't get to ride it today just because I've been too much other stuff. But plus, going on the road, I like to get the house in order so that Andy doesn't have to deal with it. And I gotta buy food for my child and load up. Yeah, I'm at Dr. Grin's this weekend in Grand Rapids. Here's so cool. Thing.
Last time I was in Grand Rapids, I went to the Gerald Ford Museum. All right, his presidential library. It's the only presidential library I've been to, and it's Gerald Ford, the almost shortest living. Shortest term. Someone else had a shorter term than that, I think. But still, anyway.
Harrison. Yeah.
What? That's right. Yeah.
Harrison,
he got it because other people quit, whatever. But it's still, and as I said before, I think I said this before, he and Betty Ford, when they were young, are two of the most attractive people I've ever seen in my life. And thank God they found each other.
I don't remember that you were hot for some sort of polygamy with the Fords.
Well, I didn't say polygamy. I'm saying I'm glad they found each other. I was hot for Gerald Ford. You see pictures of him in the old football uniforms where they're not wearing any, shoulder pads. It's just their actual shoulders. That guy was freaking cut. Good looking guy. That Jerry.
I have to write down the words, their actual shoulders, Jackie.
Yeah. So I'm not sure.
That's the only library you've been to?
Presidential? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the only time I've been, I don't know, been in a town.
I've been to Lyndon Johnson's and I've been to Clinton's.
Lyndon Johnson is in Dallas?
Texas somewhere. Yeah.
Well, okay. Yeah, I would need a more specific city.
Oh, it's a large state. Just ask them.
Yes.
They'll tell you.
And Clinton's is in Little Rock, right?
Yeah.
Was that the Arkansas gig you worked in the last year or so, or is that a long time ago when they had a funny
it was
there,
when Andy's dad lived in Arkansas, and so we went to Arkansas a bunch, and one time we got to Little Rock down from, because he lived outside and his widow lives in this town outside of Hot Springs. And so Little
Mhm.
Rock was where we flew in and had to drive down. So we got to Little Rock like 3 or 4 hours early one time. And I said, I think the Clinton library is around here. So we went to that, and next door to it was sort of a museum, sort of a bunch of different exhibits. One
Mhm.
was the history of Judaism in Arkansas.
Oh, is that
It was
a one
small.
story building?
Yeah, it was one floor.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, it was still pretty cool, and
Mhm.
it's always neat. I love the immigrant journey. I
Yeah.
enjoy the
Yes.
yeah. It's
I think if you want to see presidential, like if you hit Virginia, you're gonna get the mother lode, right? There's
yeah.
probably a lot of libraries or at least homes, right?
Andy and I have been to Monticello. Have you ever been to
No. Mm-mm.
Jefferson's?
Nope.
You had two. We only had time to do one tour. We could either do a tour of the slave quarters in the big house, or
Hmm.
the slave quarters on the plantation. And
Mm.
we did the plantation one because of, I assume, white guilt. It felt important to do like sort of the hardest thing.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And
Right.
um it was intense, but it was also um it was intense. It was educational and intense.
You know,
So
like the more you learn about that, the less it makes me attached to the sanctity of the Constitution, and
oh,
let's have a do over because it was written by men who thought that was okay to do. You know what I mean?
well, the
Whatever,
thing
Jackie.
is I will tell you this, is that people always do as I say, not as I do, has
Hmm.
been one of the tenets of civilization
Sure.
since the very beginning.
Yes.
and and at least what they're saying got better. Are you kidding me? My
Yeah.
new romance novel bit is entirely about how romance, if you were to read romance novels from the 60s to today, you
Hmm.
would see how in an idealized world women would be treated romantically and sexually in a relationship, and
Yeah.
how bad it was in the 80s
Right.
and in the
Yes.
90s. But
Hmm.
so be it. I took Andy to see art for his birthday because his birthday's at the end of the month, but the art exhibit doesn't look like it's going to still be there.
Oh,
But it's got
cool.
to still be there. It's called Luna, and it's underneath the 6th Street Bridge downtown
Okay.
LA. In Germany, there was a carnival that a guy put together, and he picked in 1987, and
Yeah.
he asked all of the great, sort of like the hottest artists, to make rides
Hmm.
and exhibits. So we're
Okay.
talking Keith Haring, David Hockney, Salvador Dali, um, and it was only there's rides and everything. You don't get to ride the rides now because it was short lived. They packed it into pods, and then they put it in storage for 40 years, and then a year and a half ago somebody bought it from Hamburg, Germany. I think it was Hamburg, and brought it to Texas, and they did the most hilarious unboxing. They were like, "Well, we know that the art will still be there, but will it be in a good shape?"
Hmm.
Well, yes, it was, because it was packed by Germans.
Yeah, they know
So,
how to take art and stash it away.
yeah, and but get this, the merch. They still had the Keith Haring merch.
Oh, nice.
You can buy the original merch. It's all like $200 or $300 from
Wow.
1987. I don't want a T-shirt that says Luna from
You know what?
1987
But I
for
want to
two.
sell I want to sell a t-shirt for $300 and get someone to buy it. I mean,
Right, and it's
that's a merch
finite.
table.
Right, but it's finite merch, right? It's the merch that was left over that was packed in the pods.
Hmm.
And so there's some really cool posters, but we don't have any wall space.
Yeah.
And I also don't want to spend $300 on anything. But it was really cool. It was really gorgeous.
Nice. I'm getting are you I did not watch the Golden Globes. I don't think they're streaming on anything, right? If they are,
Yeah, I didn't.
whatever. They're trending all over Twitter tonight. Joe Coy apparently had a rough set.
Oh, really?
Here's the thing. So he's hosting, and I just watched one or two clips, and it's not pretty, but he got the gig 10 days ago. That is not remotely enough time to come up with a monologue or rehearsal or anything. It's ridiculous. He should have said no. They must have offered a ton of money. The audience are award show audiences are always awful. It's really hard to get a laugh from them. And the audience that's watching, right? And the camera keeps cutting to the audience. Like the comic has no chance. You know, you do a joke about a celebrity, they cut to the celebrity. They don't stay on you. It's a nightmare, right?
Wow.
So to me, I'm like, oh, you should not have taken that gig. You're set up for failure, even if you've done this before. And he hasn't.
Right.
And so I guess he's having a rough set, and he blamed his writers. Which is a total panic move. He's panicking, right? But he did a Taylor Swift joke, and in front of Taylor Swift that she didn't like, apparently. But I went on Twitter and I was defending it. I'm like, any comic that does a Taylor Swift joke in front of her and in front of the internet full of Taylor Swift lovers is a hero and deserves our respect. I don't care how bad the joke was. Because those people, they will crucify him, okay?
Right.
And he did it anyway. If he'd had 11 days to prepare, he could have had someone say, oh, don't do that Taylor Swift joke.
Right. Someone would have told him.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Oprah?
Oprah Letterman?
Yeah. Letterman, Uma Oprah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. People aren't as funny as they think they are sometimes. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to write a joke. And when you're given 11 days, and what did he probably had to do 10 minutes up top, and then he had to riff in between all the different people, right?
I don't know that he's like hosting like at a regular open mic where you just, they come out occasionally. I mean, it's just it's an audience of people that are hoping they win an award and hope they look beautiful. They're not there for comedy.
No.
They're there to win an award, and they're hoping they don't look stupid when they lose. And now you've got to entertain these people. It's a fool's errand. It's
you
very
rather
difficult.
do same money?
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather host an award ceremony or do stand up at somebody's wedding?
Same money?
Yeah.
Oh, stand up at a wedding for sure.
What? All right.
At least it's not televised. If you bomb, no one's going to know. You're not going to be trending on Twitter. You have to get money, Jackie.
Right. I didn't mean to distract you by the words same money. So I did a lot of all right. As per usual, Riverside has got some sort of technical thing, but it'll all work out. Okay. Because it is still recording.
Yeah.
People, you love the show. These are the exciting world of internet podcasting. Okay. So I did a bunch of Yoo-Hoo shows, did a bunch of main room shows, all at Flappers. One of the Yoo-Hoo shows I did was a 7:00 that didn't have an audience. And the MC, nice guy, but he didn't. Todd Glass would have lost his tiny lizard mind. So I'm sitting in, 2 people come in. Finally, there's 2 audience members. And I was like, I need to run these 12 minutes. If you guys want to treat this like an open mic, we can do that too. And the guy kind of took it to heart. He was like, oh, we're going to do it like an open mic. I said, no, run it like a regular show. But I mean, if there's only the 5 of us watching each other, that's okay too. Yeah. That's all I meant. And then he kept saying it was like an open mic. And there were 2 audience members. And I felt so bad for those 2 audience members. And so he was running it himself. He didn't have a tech guy. And I said, well, show me how to do it. I'll do tech. I don't care. Yoo-Hoo room. How hard can it be? Mm-hmm. There's an iPad with the music that goes up and down. That was abrupt. We're back from a big break.
Yeah.
We're so dropped. Kyle is just coming in. Kyle's coming in hot, you guys. We're recording right now.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good place to take a break, Kyle.
Oh, fantastic. I love that.
Yeah.
Jackie, will you go ahead real quick the time code you have in your window since it's uncut?
No, it did. It stopped entirely.
It stopped. Oh, so we full reset.
Yep.
Oh, okay, cool. Then it'll be two things. That works.
That'll be perfect.
Great.
Yeah, so whatever.
Two people, yoo-hoo, open mic.
Yoo-hoo. You got to turn the lights off. You got to turn a little bit of music. You have to create the ambiance of a show, even if it's just two people or or it's just comics performing for other comics. Pretend you're in show business, right? And he was a nice enough kid. He had, I think, my favorite joke of his was that he was wearing shorts and he addressed it and said that it was unprofessional, but it was the best looking part of his body. So he didn't want to hide it. And and it was and then a guy got up, the first comic got up and he was making fun of the two audience members. My least favorite thing is to attack the two people who've come.
Correct.
And then he said, you know what? I'm not even going to do my act. He was only doing 5 minutes, Laurie. I'm not even going to do my act. I'm just going to read you these premises from my phone. And he picks his phone up. What would you prefer? Would you prefer I did my act or read these things? And so because he asked, I said, do your act.
Good.
Turns out he was rhetorical. It was rhetorical. And he stormed off stage.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He said, I don't care
when
about
two
this.
or more people are gathered in comedy's name, something biblical.
Something biblical. I would like to call the episode something biblical.
Sure. So last night, I was at Comedy Magic on Friday. Guess who was there? George Wallace.
Yeah.
I love him. I've never met him before. I love him. He's just totally engaged. He's he went up there with and he's masking. I'm not the only one, assholes. I did want to tell him his mask wasn't up to code, but I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be the know-it-all all the time. So I just want him to be safe. You get a better mask, that's okay. The surgicals, by the way, useless. But
it's nice to have the support. Yes.
Yes, but he got up on stage with a long, with a legal pad, the yellow legal pad. And that is, I've seen Seinfeld with the yellow. I've seen Shandling was at the Comedy Magic. All that generation of comics, they use the legal pad, which drives me nuts because it's just loose. Those papers could crunch up and stuff. I tried it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But that's how they like to write jokes, is on these giant legal pads.
Yeah. That's between them and their God. I don't want any part of a legal
something biblical. Yes, I need a cover. I need a moleskin cover or something.
Right. I need a tiny rubber band, to really make my life complete.
But that's killed.
Cool. I met him. Oh yeah. Oh, he kills.
He did.
It's so weird about him because he is, he's respected. He's revered. A lot of people don't know who he is. Like,
it's not a recognition kill. It's he just knows how to. Yeah, he's great. Yeah.
Yeah. And I met him at Montreal one year, and I was a giant Goonie bird at him. I was like, he said, hi. And I said, you're George Wallace. And I was like, I am very excited to meet you. I'm a big fan. And he was like, oh, good. As one does, as he ought to, but I'm afraid I gushed a little bit because it's frickin' George Wallace.
Well, he's doing spots in LA. I guess he's no longer doing a Vegas residency. He did it for at least a decade, and he produced his own show. That means he had to pay for all the advertising, but he kept a lot more money. Yep. He's very interesting to talk to, but he also has a show. Like a half-hour comedy, a single cam with oh my God, she's a trans lady who was on Orange is the New Black. Her name begins with an L, not Laverne, but something like that.
Laverne Cox.
Laverne Cox, yeah.
Yeah.
So Laverne Cox plays George Wallace's trans daughter, and George doesn't know she's no longer his son when they meet up. That's the premise of it. And I'm like,
weird.
This sounds amazing.
That
so
does sound
anyway,
amazing.
yeah, like they had lost touch, and last George's character knew he had a son, and now Laverne
he has
shows
a
up
daughter.
on his doorstep. So
Nice.
that sounds great. So then on last night, I was working with Dennis Gaxiola and Becky Lynn and Drew, and I forget his last name. Becky Lynn she's a former comic of the week, very funny, from Sacramento. But
Cool.
Dennis I've known for like ever, and he said he almost quit comedy. Right, he's like our age, and maybe a little older.
What?
He was in the Air Force for 20 years, right? And then
Okay.
started doing stand up, and he was like, I'm tired. And then he did a dry bar. One joke of his it's just a single joke, over 60 million views. And he said that flipped everything over around. Like he's just constantly working. And I'm like,
I wonder if Dry Bar would be interested in my radiation joke.
Well, he was like, you should do dry bar. I'm like, I can't do a dry bar. I'm not a dry bar comic. And if people saw me on dry bar and came to see an actual show, they would die of heart attacks. Okay.
Right, they would be sad and mad. Yes.
Is there a way for me to get that kind of success without having to
just
pretend I'm
being
clean
you?
Or pretend I think Joe Rogan is smart? Is there some other way that I can sell out some shows at comedy clubs? I'm not trying to host the Golden Globes, Jackie. I just want to make a living.
You are not wrong. I wonder if there is a way. That'd be great. That'd be great if there was a way that we could just. This might be it, though. This might be the level of success that we get. And then we die.
What?
It's okay. This is a nice living.
Speak for yourself.
I am. Hello.
You and all your challenge coins and your
my God,
swag left and right.
Oh my God, I got a lot of bees. Working on my vision. I'm working on my vision board. This is some fan art. Andy, this is me as MoDOT. MoDOT, which is mechanized organism designed only for talking.
Okay.
As opposed, it's there was a guy named Ty Templeton who wrote a short-lived comic book. It's a Marvel character. Patton Oswalt plays MoDoc, which is a mechanized organism designed only for killing. MoDOT is designed only for talking. And it was a short run. It was very silly. And it made me laugh so much. And I thought, I wish they had a cartoon of that, because I would want to do VO for that. I want to do more voiceover this year, just because I think that it would keep me home more. It'd be a nice, and it's a good way for people to recognize your voice and maybe come out and see you do. Mary Mack gets, I think, some work because of that.
You have a very distinctive voice, Jackie.
Right. Well, I think everybody does to some extent. I mean, some people. I guess so. But thank you. But I will say this: Carol at the End of the World, is that what it's called, Kyle?
Yeah,
the new Martha Kelly. Have you tried that yet?
I started it. I've watched several episodes. It's great.
I watched the first 2 episodes. The music was so melancholy in the beginning. I was like, I don't know if I can do it. And then it ended. The first episode ended so funny that I was like, okay.
I know. It's one of those where you're like, I don't know what is happening next. I give up. I'm just along for the ride, but I really love it. It's just so weird and floaty and dreamy. It feels like a dream in a way, you know?
Right. It's super. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Martha Kelly is always a great comic when she's willing to do stand up. I wish she was willing to do stand up right now. And but Carol at the End of the World it's so awesome and dreamy. Dreamy is a good word.
Should we do comic of the week? We're a little late on that, actually. Our comic.
yeah.
One of our comics tonight, Skylar Higley, like tweeted about a show he just did with this other comic. I'm like, I'm like, wait, we haven't done her.
Who is she? Yeah. And then
Brandi
you sent me
Denise.
clips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only that, of course, she's got like 20 million followers on Instagram. Why do I keep like? I'm like, oh, let's visit let's lend our podcast fame to. Wait, what? Someone's. She doesn't really need it, but she's really funny, and I watched a bunch of her clips, and she's sharp and political.
And maybe you haven't heard of her. Yeah, maybe people haven't heard of her, and so they will get to see her. What's her handle again?
Brandi Denise Boyd.
Yeah.
So it's BRANDI DENISE, and then Boyd BOYD. That's on Instagram, and that's where you can find a lot of her clips and stuff.
I wonder if she comes from the coffee people. Boyd Coffee. Probably not.
Is that Portland?
That is Portland.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from them in a long time, the Boyds. That seemed like they were in a battle with Seattle's best coffee, and then they sort of went away, and Intelligentsia and Blue Bottle took over the market of expensive
Stumptown,
yeah. Right. Well, yeah. I've been getting Folgers in a tin because it's you can recycle a tin much easier than the plastic containers that the rest of the things come in. I don't mind the Folgers; it's not bad.
You're wrong again about foods.
Excuse
and
me,
beverages.
Folgers in your cup is oh shoot, I forget the rest of that. Wow,
I don't know. It's good to the last drop if you're desperate for
Maxwell House.
drop. That was Maxwell House. Yeah. Yeah, I don't what else did I've done plenty of stand. I did other stand up too that I was pretty psyched about.
Mm-hmm.
Listening to my old albums trying to find material. Oh, here's the other thing about the Don't Tell. I was talking to Carmen Morales and I was like, you see, this is a new outfit. Do you think this would be a good outfit I could wear for the Don't Tell? And she goes, no, Jackie, no. There is a stylist that I've been trying to hook you up with. And so guess what? I'm going to have a tiny team.
Nice.
Jasmine Ellis, who's a comic, and a great comic, and she'll be up tonight doing stand-up comedy, is also a makeup artist. I've hired her to do my makeup for the Don't Tell.
Nice.
I'm getting my hairs done.
Yes.
A couple days early just to make sure that it is, it looks like it was
settled,
just cut and
right?
Settled. Yeah. And then I'm going to have somebody toss me into a rock tumbler and put clothes on me that isn't like a hoodie. So
I love it. That's great.
We'll see what I look like.
If I ever do another TV spot again, I'm going to hire a stylist because I can't be trusted with what I come up with.
Right. I mean, I don't think that it's yet another job that
it is.
Other people do better than we do.
Yes, so. I have to be my own assistant, my own videographer, my own accountant, my own, whatever you can think of. I have to do it. I have to jump into that part of my head and execute these functions. It's hard. It's not my nature. I should be floating and thinking of jokes every once in a while.
Right. Hard agree. You distracted me with accounting. How much is, if I paid somebody a certain amount, I have to give them a 1099, right? Is it 600?
Maybe. I don't know.
You know what I'll do? I'll ask somebody who isn't a comic. I
didn't say I was a good accountant. I just said I have to do that stuff.
Right. I have an accountant. I can ask her.
I am no longer working with my accountant. He was charging me guild writer rates, and it's been 3 years since I've been a guild writer. So I was like, this isn't working anymore. And then he goes, do you want to dissolve your company? Which I felt like a personal attack on my life.
Indeed.
I'm like, no, I will make more money again, but I can't afford to pay this money now. And I even though this guy knows me really well, it's like, it's hard. I have to start over with somebody new. It's hard, but I was paying full rates for a really long time when I wasn't making any money. So,
Right. Yeah. You have to figure it out. I don't know.
Jackie.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
No, I'm gonna wax poetical about money, but now we don't have to.
No, you don't have to, because I was at a Hilton last night. Okay.
Oh,
And
which
so
one?
John Fox always price lines the hotel like minutes before the gig starts.
Right.
Exhausting, but whatever. Okay. Everyone's got their own style. It's, it's a Bay Area gig, it's home, right?
It's right.
So I get a Hilton, I get there, and the hotel clerk's like, no, your points don't count if you use a third party. Like, and I'm like,
Right.
first of all, I didn't use, I'm just showing up. I'm a comic, okay?
Right.
This isn't my fault. And then the Hilton, it was one of the airport Hiltons.
Did that work?
No, they didn't give me any points for the stay.
Right. Yeah, they won't. Yeah, they won't.
Plus,
if it's okay.
They have vending machines. The vending machine has my favorite thing in it. It's that cheddar smart popcorn, that white cheddar smart popcorn. Have you seen that stuff?
I have.
I love it. It's my road treat.
Okay.
I watch it. I eat it while I watch HGTV after my shows. That is how I treat myself on the road. We all
a lot
do
of
different
people
things.
say showbiz isn't glamorous, and then we hear this kind of tale, this kind of story.
My lottery dream house and some white cheddar popcorn. And
from the smart company. Yes.
Right. It wouldn't come out of the vending machine. So I go up to the front desk. The same people, by the way, they won't give me my points. And I'm like, does anyone know how the vending machine works? It's like, yeah, it's tapping, it's like high tech, but it's not working. And they're like, no, we just subcontract out. That's not our vending machine. Basically, I don't work here and I don't know. And I'm like, what's happening?
Right.
There's no pride at the Hilton.
Right, they might as well waterboard you.
Thank you.
I don't understand how.
Someone understands.
Yeah, this is my third time I'm mentioning Carmen Morales. I'm doing Sunnyvale the first weekend of February, and she's gonna come feature for me, and we're gonna stay at that hotel, and hopefully
the wild.
whatever it is.
I shouldn't say
it.
Oh,
it seems unlikely. But I get it.
You never know,
and
Jackie.
I was trying to figure out how I would, because I know other people ask what the hotel stipend is, and then they use it because it isn't a Hilton property, and you know how much I love a Hilton property, is that if I could get the
the money.
But I think the club gets a deal with this local. It's a one-off. I don't think it's
I think
a chain.
so. Yeah. I like it. They have a little breakfast.
Oh, it is nice.
Cool little,
No, it's actually a very nice hotel. I was just thinking, Hilton
but you want your points.
Yeah, I didn't make gold this year, so no free water and Swedish fish for me.
Oh.
Guess what? I would always forget to ask for it. So.
I'm blue. I don't know what that means. I feel like that's the lowest color level in the Hilton chain is blue. You haven't even heard of it before. It's a foreign word to you.
In 23, and there's always
they go
like
up to gemstones after they run out of colors. Oh,
yeah. And there's a sign that says, "Are you?" Well, it was. Oh, there's a sign that says "Parking for Diamond members only," and nobody's enforcing that. You can just.
I think I lost my Southwest A-list, Jackie.
Oh,
does it reset at the beginning of the year?
Yes. So does I think I'm not platinum anymore either on Delta.
Oh my God.
I'm flying Delta on Wednesday, but
Jackie, I was C13 boarding today. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? All the business I gave you people last year.
Yeah. That's not great. C is hard.
No.
But from San Francisco, it's okay because you're up and down.
Right.
Did you see the Alaska thing? Did you see the Alaska airline problem?
Yes. Always wear your seatbelt, guys. Never take off a seatbelt.
Don't not. If you're just sitting there, just leave your seatbelt on.
Yeah,
there's no reason not to leave
Jackie,
your seatbelt on.
That's why I'm an aisle lady from way back. I like the aisle.
You sound so proud. What does it mean? How does that change your life?
Because I'm not next to a window that blows off of a plane. All right, I got the aisle. I kick my legs out. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I've been talking about the aisle for years on this podcast. Kyle, pull up a transcript.
We've been doing it long enough that I've gone from an aisle to a window, like over the course of this podcast.
You've migrated over. Wow.
As gigs, and I want to be sucked out sooner.
You just want to die. Why would a 6'7" guy want the window seat? That doesn't make sense unless he wants to die.
I want the window seat because I want to curl up against a wall and away from all people. And I put my sweatshirt in between the wall and myself, and I get a little nap time.
I don't sleep. I don't sleep on
Though
planes.
I did get bumped up to first class on this Denver trip. So I have no idea why that happened, but good for me.
Yeah.
I'm also trying to figure out I'm trying to figure out going back and looking at all these old jokes of mine to find, because there's part of it that's like, well, there's at least 6 10-minute sets that I could do with Don't Tell if you guys want to do this.
Yeah.
And it pays a certain amount of money. They just got a sponsor and doubled my money. So this is actually going to pay for my hair and my makeup and maybe even the outfit. Yeah.
Interesting.
Hey, did we take a second break? I'm so sorry.
Oh. I
know.
wonder because so I did I think I did my Don't Tell maybe in February of last year, and then I'd shot this special. So I was like, well, I can't release much material because it's all coming out. I put out the Black Twitter bit and that's it. But I wonder if after the special comes out, then they could just release the rest of it like a couple months later, because it's they have a different audience than Comedy Dynamic.
Different backdrop, right?
Yeah, different backdrop, right.
What you should definitely cannibalize the last 40 years of stand-up comedy. I was like, sure, let me relearn another 12-minute set. It was kind of the Steves last night actually did me a favor, because I got to do a joke, a new fun joke. And I have so many premises that I really want to work on. But I do want the Don't Tell to be good.
Yeah,
I want it to look good, and I want the jokes I'm doing to, and I know it's all going to get clipped out, so if I don't end super strong, it won't really matter, because it's not really an arc. It's not really a set.
You're shooting 12 reels back to back,
right?
That's it.
Yeah, it's my old shoplifting bit.
Did you listen to the Cat Williams interview?
Couldn't do it. The only thing I thought about that, here's the thing. Imagine if I didn't care. And someone said, do you want to sit down for 3 hours and talk about everybody that's ever irritated me?
Jackie, I have an incredible idea for our last podcast. 3 hours.
Also, this podcast will cost $1,000 to listen to.
Patreon.
We will make
Get in on it. You listened to it though?
I listened to the whole thing. It took 2 workouts, and a lot of shopping. Yeah,
sure.
I mean, he goes off on, he exaggerates himself as well.
Sure.
In the end, he's an entertainer. And even in this podcast, he was being very, very entertaining, and I'm not putting everything through a metal detector to check for lies or exaggerations. Right. I'm enjoying.
And he didn't say he was the hero of 9/11. Yeah.
And he didn't. He did not say. Oh my God.
He's
that
not. Everything he said is emotionally true. Don't you think?
Yes, I do. So it was really good. And I had no idea who Shannon Sharp was. He's a football player and he's had this podcast for a while. So, good looking guy.
Well, there's a lot of handsome fellas out there.
Yes. And sometimes they start talking about women and feminism, and I'm like, oh, it's all. You know what? Every time I'm agreeing with a male comic, and then they start talking about women, I'm like, oh, right. No offense, Kyle. Not Kyle. Kyle accepted.
I'm wrong,
you know what
too.
I'm saying?
Don't worry, I know.
they always veer into this direction that I'm just like, okay, no one's perfect. That's what I have to tell myself.
No one's perfect.
No one's perfect.
Laurie, they have daughters.
Father of a daughter.
They're brothers. They have mothers. They have an aunt that they once liked, and if someone popped her in the head, they'd get her. My blue collar Batman bit is actually would always get a lot of good responses from guys that you wouldn't want to be alone with. You're just like, you want blue collar Batman to help you in the moment, but you don't want to hang out with blue collar Batman. You don't want to hang. I wouldn't want to hang out with white collar Batman. Batman seems like he's a pill. He's not for me. I want to see the new Miyazaki movie. And
I think I saw that already.
The Boy and the Heron.
Oh, it's really good. Yeah, I saw it with my kid. Yeah, it was great. It's great. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You borrowed all those Miyazaki movies from us, did you? And I don't think you watched them, the DVDs.
We did. Oh, I mean,
you gave them back. No, you gave them back.
Okay. Good. I have no idea what you're saying. I'm like, I know I didn't throw any DVDs away, so either I gave. I don't know. We don't have a DVD, an accessible DVD player. Like it has to be taken out of.
No, this was 6 years ago.
Facility.
I mean, it was 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah, and
okay.
But it's interesting that your young man is interested in Miyazaki now because I hope, like Porco Rossi is pretty great. Ponyo might be the least of them, and I genuinely liked Ponyo. I'm predisposed to. I like them all. So the Nausicaa Wind, how does that go?
Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Thank you very much. Is my favorite one, and it's about giant bugs. So you would think I would hate it because I don't like bugs.
You handed that and insisted that I watch it.
Oh, did I?
You know,
mm-hmm.
The Boy and the Heron is his best performing film by a bajillion dollars, and he's like 85 years old.
He was in retirement, and he came out of retirement to do it, which is how he does retirement. Mm-hmm. He retires in between movies, and then he goes, you know what, I'll make another movie. And because this last week's, the first Dork Forest I took 2 weeks off of the Dork Forest. So the first Dork Forest of 2024 was with Maria Bamford, who talked about retirement.
Oh, I listened to that because you had said that her accountant said she needed $4 million to retire. And I was like, okay, I am going to resubscribe to the Dork Forest because I got to hear this in full.
Right. And feel free to cherry pick. I think this, I forget what this one is. It's a good one this week. It comes out on Tuesday. But, and in my new intro, I'm just like, everybody give me $100 for the year. And like 5 people did. So that worked.
What the fuck?
All you have to do, it turns out, is to remind people that I have been providing the Dork Forest for free for 18 years.
Yeah, I mean, people are more than welcome to join our Patreon. At the minimum level, $5 a month. That's $1.25 per podcast if you enjoy what we give you. Or we have a Max Fund drive coming up. If you join Max Fun, you get an extra podcast. You get extras from us. You know, it's
you get a pin or something.
We can make a little bit of money from this hour that we provide, even on Christmas Eve and even on New Year's Eve. We're putting out fucking podcasts,
even on the day after Armenian Christmas.
Yes, the most offensive of days,
Boxing Day.
Every day is a Boxing Day for an Armenian. Come on, folks. They're violent.
Is what you're saying. Now, I don't know if that was my Irish side or my Armenian side, but it was my I don't enjoy bullies side.
I think they're interchangeable, Jackie.
Yeah, I think all people are If there's bad people, I've just decided. I think I told you this last week. Is that I want to stand up for what's right, and I don't want to be pushed around, and I want to be a good person, but I don't want to get into any more fights. I just
Sure.
I would like to be. I want to help people. Andy, this 2023 was the last year of the Meat Shield T-shirts that I had printed and pins, and so the final accounting of what I donated from those purchase of that was $16,243 to various immigrant groups and Black Lives Matter and some Planned Parenthood and Abortion Front stuff.
Yeah.
To help people. And it's really cool. I would like to do another thing like that, but right now I have the bee t-shirt and the bee hat, which is taking up all of my merch energy in my brain box.
Yeah.
My brain feels kind of full.
God,
Laurie.
Me too. It's a little overwhelming. I took my son to see Michael Cruz Kane has a one-man show called I'm Sorry for Your Loss. I've done his podcast on grief. He has his son passed away. Okay. Ooh. And so he does a show about it. And it's really good. And so I took my kid to it, and afterwards he was like, "Yeah, it was good." It's a heavy topic and stuff, and so I was like, "Okay," the usual teenage. And then as we're driving home and we're in an outline, he starts talking about my mom and her death and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh, it cracked something open. That's kind of cool. That it wasn't a direct tie. He wasn't like, well, this show made me think of this, but he just was like, it was cool. And then a while later, stuff popped out.
Yeah.
So it's a great show. If you have a chance to see it, I recommend it. He's a comic and he writes for Colbert, I think.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I think it's been an hour. I feel like it's.
Oh,
it emotionally feels like an hour.